Number 1 says, without a calculator, sketch each of the following graphs. So the square root of x plus 5, you can do that by looking at what the regular square root function looks like,
And then go up.
which is something like this. And then you just take that function and move it up 5, and there's your answer.
I didn't mind drops.
Okay? Well, you did it wrong. Okay, so then the next one where it says sine of x plus 3, since the plus 3 is inside the parentheses, what does that do to the graph?
Moves it down.
Nope, moves it to the left. Inside the parentheses is left and right. And so if you want to take the original graph of the sine function, which looks something like that, and then the same deal, just shift it 3 to the left. So it'll look a lot like that. Okay? All right, and then the next one is cosine of x minus 2.
Does that go down?
Yep, so now since it's outside the parentheses, it's going to go down 2. So you have to remember that the cosine function starts at 1. Huh? The highest point is 1, and so now if this goes down 2, the highest point will be negative 1. Okay? Instead of going in between negative 1 and 1, it'll go in between negative 3 and negative 1. Okay? Okay, number 4. You guys still continue to panic a little bit about domain. I'm not sure what he just said. For at least the 5th or 6th time, the only thing you need to worry about in terms of domain is dividing by 0, taking square roots of negative numbers. Those are the two things in math that you cannot do. So if you have x squared minus 3, is there any way that you can divide by 0?
No.
No. Is there any way that you can take the square root of a negative number? No. No fractions, there's no square roots. And so that means that my domain is from negative infinity to infinity. Okay? If you are still uncomfortable with that, another way that you can do these is by looking at the graphs. So if you get that going here, x squared minus 3, you should know what this looks like already. There's a parabola that's been shifted down 3. How far is it going to go in this direction?
Infinity.
Infinity. How far is it going to go in this direction?
Infinity.
Infinity. Okay, so that's why the domain is negative infinity to infinity. Okay, the next one. What do I have to worry about now? Dividing by 0. So what value of x would make x plus 3 equal to 0? Negative 3. So since negative 3 would make this equal 0, x cannot equal negative 3. So your domain is negative infinity to negative 3 and negative 3 to infinity. What?
Is there a square bracket on
Can it equal negative 3?
Wait.
No. Can it equal infinity?
No.
No. So no square bracket.
I'm confused.
I'm Mr. Aldrich. Nice to meet you.
On mine I wrote, like, I didn't use that U thing.
Okay, what'd you write?
I wrote parentheses, negative infinity, comma, negative 3, comma, infinity.
That's
Is
incorrect.
that suitable?
No, it's incorrect.
Taylor, what are you confused about?
Why did you put negative infinity?
What?
Because if you can divide by negative, we can't
It just can't be negative 3.
Yeah, because if you try to plug negative
Oh,
3
it's
in there,
negative infinity. Oh, duh, now I get it.
there you
I
go.
just-
Okay. All right, so same thing as with the other one with that problem. If you want to, you can look at the graph. If you're not going to have a hard time understanding this, hey, Shorty, hush. Can you see why the domain is negative infinity to -3, and -3 to infinity.
Yeah.
There's this break right here at -3, so it can't be -3. So you can do it algebraically, or you can do it by looking at the graph. All right, number 5. Now we're going to build some functions from some other
No one
functions.
likes building functions.
Everybody loves building functions.
It's ridiculous. I got these wrong.
Okay, so the first thing is add them together. So 2x minus 1 plus x minus 1 squared. But you can simplify that. What's x minus 1 squared? X squared minus 2x plus 1. Lots of people were getting this wrong. X minus 1 times x minus 1. You go first times first is x squared. Outside is negative x. Inside is negative x. And last times last is 1. So that would be 2x minus 1 plus x squared minus 2x plus 1. And what miracle occurs now? 2x's cancel, the plus 1's cancel, and so my final answer is just plain old x squared.
You can go back to where you factored it.
I foiled it?
Yeah.
I did it differently. I thought I did it right.
Like, why did you do that?
What? So I can simplify?
Can't you go like,
Oh, that, okay.
can't you go?
Bad math day? Good thing the test is tomorrow.
You know,
A better math day
you can't
tomorrow.
just leave that up there.
Okay, I'll just leave it up there. Justine, did you have a question?
No.
Okay, B. We're supposed to multiply the two things together. So 2x minus 1 times x minus 1 squared. Done. Way. Do you want to FOIL those out?
No.
I was in the middle of.
Mommy would totally.
Oh, it is that hard. It's difficult. If I'm going to do this, then I would need to FOIL out the x minus 1 squared first, which we just figured out in the last problem is x squared minus 2x plus 1.
So like we're done.
Yeah, but then
and then
if
you
you
just
want to keep
multiply.
going, yeah, then, okay, so 2x times all three of these. Sorry, that we didn't have a great teacher like we did last year.
So we don't have to do that.
So 2x times x squared is 2x cubed.
You don't have to.
2x times negative 2x is negative 4x squared. And 2x times 1 is 2x. And then do the same thing with the negative 1. So negative 1 times x squared is negative x squared. Negative 1 times negative 2x is plus 2x. And negative 1 times 1 is negative 1. And then you combine all your like terms. And you would get that. Okay? So, you know. This one you should do because when you simplify it, there's some canceling that can happen. And this right here is way more complicated than just plain old x squared. Okay? But I almost like this answer. This is a simpler answer than this one right here. Yes.
So on A, if we don't do that, that would be like half a point off.
Yeah.
So about B would be fine.
Yes. Okay. All right. And then the fun one is the composition of functions. G of f of x. And so I don't know if this helps you or not, but I figured out when I was teaching you guys this the first time that maybe the best thing to do to start with is take every x in the g function and replace it with the symbol f of x. Okay? Because that's what g of f of x means. It means take the x and replace it with f of x.
Take the x and replace it with x.
Yeah, so look at the g
Well, then
function.
what happened to the g? Like,
The g of x is x minus 1 squared. Okay? So this is an x, this is an x. G of f of x is f of x minus 1 squared. This is an f of x, this is an f of x.
That was kind of confusing.
Okay? I don't know, just whatever is in the parentheses goes in where the x is. Okay?
Say that again. Whatever's in the.
Whatever's in the parentheses goes in where the x is. So if I ask you what is g of 4, what do? You put 4 in for x. So why is it so much more confusing to put f of x in for x?
Because it's just like a variable, like they.
Because of what?
So you just put in whatever f of x is?
Yes, and since f of x is 2x minus 1,
So it would be 2x minus 2, and that's the final answer? Before
Should,
you-
squared, yeah.
And do we have to find
You
for
don't
that?
have to, you could. You don't have to.
Okay, leave that.
Okay.
Alright, so where did this?
Okay, number 6 is about inverses.
So we put,
So to start with, you switch the x and the y,
Okay.
and then you just solve for y. And the first one is easy. How do I solve for y, Becca? Subtract 2, so that gives me x minus 2 equals 4y.
Yeah,
Y.
that's your name, Rebecca.
And you divide by
Divided by 4.
And then divide both sides by 4. So y equals x minus 2 divided by 4. And in a simple one like that, as you pointed out when we very first did this, you can see why that's the inverse. Instead of adding 2 like we did in the original problem, we're subtracting 2. Instead of multiplying by 4, we are dividing by 4. So we did everything backwards, okay? So same thing for b. I'm starting with y equals x cubed plus 4. Switch the x and the y. Yep, this one should also be easy. What do I do first?
you.
Subtract 4.
Subtract 4. So x minus 4 equals y cubed. And then take the cube root of both sides. So final answer, y equals the cube root of x minus 4. So same as in the other one, instead of adding 4, we're subtracting 4. Instead of cubing x, we're taking the cube root of x.
The next
See,
one is
there's a little
not.
difference.
Right, see, now that whole thing just totally breaks down and you can't even really see what's
You
going
have to
on.
help me though.
So these are the A plus problems,
There's
which you can do it.
extra credit, right?
Nope, you can do it. Okay, first step is the same.
What's the variable? Yeah.
So switch the variable, so x equals 3y minus 2 over y plus 4. Okay?
Y plus 4.
Good, multiply both sides by y plus 4. And for those of you in here that are juniors and will be taking calculus next year, this is something that we do in that class about the middle of the year. So you multiply both sides by y plus 4, and the reason we chose y plus 4 is so that those will cancel. Now I have to distribute the x. Okay, equals 3y minus 2. Okay, now the fun part here is that we need to get all the y's on the left and all the things without y's on the right. So the xy has a y in there, so it stays right where it is. Okay, the 4x does not have a y in there, so I need to subtract 4x from both sides. Oops, it should have been there.
I did those things, I forgot.
And then if I look at the other side, the 3y term does have a y in there, so it's got to get moved over to the left. And the minus 2 doesn't have a y, so it's fine. So those cancel, and those cancel, and on the left, xy minus 3y
equals negative 2x minus 3.
or minus 2 minus 4x, whichever one. Yeah, it's okay.
Divide by that. No, you have to.
Okay, now you factor out the y.
Oh, yeah. 1 by 4 is
What'd you say?
Now subtract.
Because I want everything that has a y in it to go to this side. So since there's a 3y on the right, I put that over here. And I have to do that by doing the opposite. It was positive, so I subtract. And I want everything without a y in it over onto the right. So I subtracted the 4x from both sides. Okay? So now I have it set up here where both of these things have y's in them. So that means I can factor out the y. That's why I did that. Okay? Now what do I do to get rid of this x minus 3?
Divide.
Divide both sides by x minus 3. So those cancel.
And your left y equals negative 4x minus 2.
And you can do that where all those signs are switched, depending on on which way you're putting things. The dumbest.
Like the same thing.
They're pretty damn smart.
Same thing except different.
That almost made sense.
Wait, what was, what did you say?
I do.
Did you ask why he?
No, I mean, I use it in my everyday life outside of school.
Yeah,
Yeah, I was balancing the checkbook just last night and I had to find the inverse of this. Because I was making a graph of how much money my wife spends at REI each month, and the variables were all mixed up.
That year what? REI?
Yeah, you don't know?
Yeah, I do, but I didn't even know we had one around here.
There's one of them, yeah. And she loves it. My daughter will tell you REI stands for really expensive items.
That is true.
Okay, number 7.
No.
So we need to put this into stat plot.
You plug it in.
Okay, so you go stat,
Enter.
edit, clear this out.
Wow, it's clear, that's nice. Do you want to see?
Okay,
0, 1, 2.
yeah, let's just go from 1990, okay, because it just saves a little time. Now, if you do the whole years, then that's okay, I'll know. But it's a little bit easier on yourself if you don't. All the numbers come up smaller. Okay, so you got all your stuff in there. If you go to y equals, clear out whatever you have in there, make sure stat plot 1 is turned on. Okay? And then you go zoom 9. Linear, quadratic, exponential, what? Linear. Okay, so that means go stat, calc, 4, enter. And now we have the regression equation. So your answer to the regression equation is y equals
Hey, okay, you see that?
0.109x
Yeah, mine's not working.
It's not right on.
plus 4.5.42.
Mr. Alders, I appreciate this problem.
I got the same one for the X, but I got a different one.
Did I enter something in wrong?
I don't know, but mine will crash.
Okay.
I got the same thing.
I got the same thing.
Okay, so you might have just missed
I put.
You started, no, you started 0. Should be.
Okay. You don't need to look at the, I mean, I guess you do need to look at the scatter plot to know if you want to use linear or quadratic or whatever.
Prediction, what's that mean?
Okay, so what's your prediction for the hourly wage, minimum hourly wage in 2008? Well, we said 1990 was 0, so that means 2008, oh, I told you the wrong thing, is 18.
Thanks.
Okay, you're
That's not
welcome.
what I did though. I did 90.
So then we go to
and then
stat
91.
again, edit?
Nope, now you just plug that in for X.
Oh, really?
So you just plug 18 in there for X because you want to know what the minimum hourly wage is going to be 18 years later.
Can you fix it? It didn't do anything? I can't get
7.38.
linear regression because 7.38 said something's not valid.
I wrote 9.
And you round it up to 5.
What, 7.38?
7.89 to round up.
Yeah, mine was a little-
What's the,
No, it's 7.382.
It's
what?
7.382. So 7.3. Yeah.
okay, what is the minimum wage right now?
Like 9.99.
Okay, so this was 4 years ago. I don't know. Let's plug in,
That's wrong.
what is the, 2012, so plug in 22. So what you get?
7.81.
Oh.
I was just 22.
Because that's this year right now, I just wanted to see.
Yeah,
It's
they're
about $2 off.
Is it like
a
nine?
couple dollars off.
Yeah.
So you guys are lucky, you're making way too much money.
4 plus 0.05x.
I thought it was 0.05x.
All right, and then on the back side, your favorite kind of problems. The word problems, so write a mathematical expression for each situation or more than 5% of a number. So you have to come up with 5% of a number first is what?
0.05x.
0.05x, for more than that, plus 4. Okay? Seems like in a junior, senior level math analysis class, that should be a
But that was
pretty easy
really
problem.
good.
Considering the fact that I'm going over those types of problems right now with my pre-algebra class, but perhaps I expect too much. All right, the area of a rectangle whose base is 3 times more than its width. Nope, it's not.
1 times.
The width is x, the base is
Y.
3x.
I like the word base, I like length.
Yeah, length and width, okay, or base and height or whatever. No, so now what's the area?
Area equals 3x times x.
Okay.
Squared.
Yeah, x times x squared, all
I wrote it
right.
as, Stroller.
Yes?
I wrote it as A equals 3L plus, times W.
But see, you want to use one variable, and so that's why it says the base is 3 times more than its width. So if you use L, then this is 3L.
Oh my gosh, why
Okay,
did you
or
put
W,
the
then
C1?
3W. So you don't have to use an X, okay? But you do need to use one variable.
Why did you
Okay?
leave the circle inscribed in the square?
Because we did this already, so it should be an easy one.
The circle is inscribed in a square. That's hard. Well, you could take the diameter.
Okay, so we have a circle inscribed in a square. And we want to find the area of the square in terms of the radius of the circle. So here is the radius of the circle.
Does the radius not have the, like,
I'm going to go with R.
can it be 2
Okay,
R?
so
2 R?
Is that an R? Yeah.
it's an R for radius. I know it's not a great R, but just go with it, okay? Oh my God.
Can't it just be 2R squared?
How is it that,
Like, wouldn't that be?
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Got it.
yeah, well,
I don't even know what that last time was.
okay, so if the radius of the circle is R, what is the length of the side of the square?
2R.
2R. What's this side?
2R.
What is the area of the square?
2R times 2R.
Which is
2R squared.
4R squared.
That's what I
Who
meant.
said 2R squared? Who said that?
That was me.
I picked
Okay,
that.
come on.
Okay?
Okay, no, you think that's it. Wait.
Okay.
Right? That's the whole, that's the answer.
That's the answer.
Oh.
Yeah.
All right, and then some word problems where we actually come up with some answers instead of just equations. Find Joe's original salary, so that means we want, since what we're trying to find is his original salary. His original salary is our variable. That's X. If his new salary after a 5% raise is $52,350. So that means he took his original salary and he got 5% more.
Plus.
So plus 0.05x equals his new salary, which is $52,350. Okay?
Yeah, I didn't do it like that. I just divided it and minus.
Okay. As long as it works.
I didn't know how to write it in equation. I know how to get the answer, but I was still confused.
No. No, because you're not taking 5% of his new salary. Okay? When I get a raise, they don't say, all right, we're going to give you a raise and it's going to be 5% of the new salary we're going to give you. They say your raise is going to be 5% of what you are making already. So you have to go 5% of your original thing. Oh wait, I don't ever
49,700.
get a raise. So you combine these,
Wait, teachers don't get raises?
not lately. Actually, had pay cuts the last 4 years. That's kind of a drag, yeah. Get that new paycheck at the beginning of the year and go, wait a minute, why is that a
Wait,
less
I
on
didn't
it?
think you
than-"
cut your pay.
Oh, yeah.
You sound like, you don't like sign a contract that says you're not gonna cut
We
my
sign a
pay.
new contract every year.
He just keeps signing his life away.
And then like, a substantial amount, like, when are you doing this?
49.
Okay, so you divide both sides by 1.05, and you find out that their original salary was what?
49,857.
49,857, and don't forget that 14 cents.
Yeah, that's 14 cents.
That's 14 cents every year for like your whole life.
Think about
That
it.
could be like $3 by the time you die. That's important.
Oh, don't change it, please.
Don't go change it.
Feel like a session.
Hey, look, I don't have a smoothie.
I had a delicious smoothie this morning.
You'll bring me one.
I would love you to bring me a smoothie.
It's gonna be like, what, 9 years?
I don't know, what's the best time?
This morning I
This is
had.
too strong.
That's not gonna be like vegetarian, it's gonna be like
Okay, B.
wine.
5% decrease in the price of gas if it went down from $4.49 a gallon to $2.29 a gallon. How much did it go down by?
We did a lot of these.
$2.20. So you take the amount of change divided by the original amount. And that's a pretty big decline. I wish that would happen.
Are you serious?
How much?
48.9.
Okay, so it went down 48.9%.
That's a lot.
That would be a lot, yes. Not happening, probably. Probably, just kidding. If you watch the markets, it's awesome because every time the price of oil goes up, the price of gas goes up, and when the price of oil goes down, the price of gas stays the same. So, yeah.
That's always fun.
Sarcasm, it's not awesome at all. No, actually, those guys don't set that price.
Yes, it's
It's
Exxon.
it's the
They
parent
don't want to
company
drop
that
it,
sets it, yeah.
New Missouri gas, 325.
You try to freeze, why do you think?
Or I also drive a Tahoe.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, C, it says how much 20% acid solution
That's a good one.
and 35% acid solution do we have to use to make 40 liters? Yeah, that's 28% acid, okay? And so this is, I was helping Jefferson with this before class started, this is a lot like the problem where the guy was investing money and he was investing it at 2 different interest rates. You can think of these acid percentages as the 2 different interest rates. We're going to use these to figure out how much interest they made altogether, okay? But the very first thing you can figure out is if you want 40 liters of a solution, that means the 2 things that you add together have to equal 40. So just like in the problem we did, I think the total investment was like $25,000 or something. So the 2 amounts that he invested added up to $25,000, okay? Now 20% acid, 20% as a decimal is 0.2. So I need 0.2x plus 35% acid as a decimal is 0.35y. And that's going to equal the amount of acid that we're going to have in the total solution. So what is 0.28 times 40? How much acid do we want altogether?
11.2.
11.2, thank you. So this is the total, this is the equation that goes with the total solution. That needs to add up to 40, and this just deals with the amount of acid. 20% plus 35% needs to equal 11.2. Okay? How do I solve these?
You could do.
Okay, solve for x or for y, you want to go for y?
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
So y equals 40 minus x. So now I'm going to just take that and plug it in for the y. here. Distribute,
Yeah.
0.35 times 40 is,
One at 14.
is what?
14.
14 even? Okay. Minus 0.35x equals 11.2.
Wait a minute. Did you just distribute that?
I did, yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Okay, combine your like terms. So 0.2x take away 0.35x is minus 0.15x. Plus 14 equals 11.2. Now it's easy.
So you minus the subtract.
Subtract 14 from both sides. So those cancel and give you negative 2.8. And then to solve it, you divide by negative 0.15. So what do you get?
Negative.
You're positive around 19-ish.
12.
18 and 2/3, 18.6. And then how do you use that to figure out what the amount of the other one is?
Plug it in. Plug it in.
Okay, we'll recap in a second. They have to add up to 40 together, right? So that means I'm going to need another 21.3 repeating of that to get a total of 40. All right?
How did you get? What's those divided